Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Rich Perez welcoming you back into your weekly rundown. Join in with me, as always, my brother from another, my co host, all the way from the 305, Kayson Davis. How you doing, Kay?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing? How you feeling today?
Doing all right, man. We were kind of both wrong on that Heat series. That hurts. It definitely hurt.
Uh, yeah. I think
We'll get
I
into
I
it.
think I almost picked the Heat. So yeah, we'll get into it. Fine.
Oh man. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I said, we are back into the
Just
rundown. We are into the second round of the NBA playoffs after a bit of an eventful first round where we
nope.
saw sweeps, non-sweeps, some lackluster game sevens. Shout out to the Clippers and the Rockets for making my game seven video look terrible. But we're here. We're here. And a lot of things that happened. So Kay, where do you wanna start off at? You wanna start off in what happened in the East or the West?
Uh, we kind of can start off with the series that kind of went fast. We can start with the Thunder. That was a sweep. The Heat. That was a sweep. Guess we can kind of blow through those really fast. I don't know if there's much to say about them.
You know, when with the Grizzlies Thunder series, I mean, obviously we all thought the Thunder were gonna win that series, but I thought Ja was heading in a direction to at least get them a game. Like they were up 20 when he got hurt, and then they just completely squandered the lead after that. I mean, they kept it competitive in game 4, but you know, um I don't really know what to say there though. The Grizzlies really need to do something this free agency, add somebody else in there that can really help take them over the top because it's currently constructed. I mean, Edie, you hope that he can develop this summer and you know bring something to the team coming forward. Need a little bit more from Jaren Jackson in these series, and Josh just got to stay healthy. But yeah, the Thunder were just too much for him, man. They're too much firepower over there. They were just completely outmatched for the most part.
Yeah, I think obviously they would have put up a better fight if they had John Morant. I think once he went down, the series was kind of over. They were up maybe 20 something in that game, and you can see as soon as he went out, it kind of just took the life out of them. And then they put up a good fight in game four, but I mean, obviously they fired their coach, and then down the stretch they were trying to pull things together. They were like the two seed or top three seed at least for most of the season, so they're right there. They just gotta, I guess, figure their coaching situation out, and then I don't know what they could add. I think they really still need like a real small forward, someone that's maybe about like 6'8", 6'9", someone that can come in there, play a little defense, make some shots. Then they got Gigi Jackson, but he didn't play too. He didn't play really much down the stretch. So,
Is he
uh,
hurt?
no, he was actually healthy. He was hurt to start the
I,
season, but
I,
he was
I
healthy.
didn't even. I don't understand that at all.
Obviously, I think they lost. Wasn't I think it's Jalen Wells or sorry, I
Jalen
forget his
Wells,
name.
yeah. Jalen Wells
Uh,
was going to be big for them because that's who they would have threw on Shea.
yeah, he was their starter small forward for most of the season. So losing Ja, losing Wells, and just kind of how their season ended, it was kind of just all she wrote after that. So, I mean, they're right there. They just gotta tweak a few things, and they'll be right back in the mix.
For sure, for sure. The Miami Heat get swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look, man, I tried to tell y'all, I really tried to tell y'all this Cavs team was not to be slept on. They are not the 2015 Atlanta Hawks. Now we'll get into what happened yesterday, but as far as this series goes, the Cavs went on once they went on their third double digit winning streak during the regular season. I was like, all right, they are not to be played with. Like they are legit. And on the side of the Heat, man, that was just straight up embarrassing. You know, Eric Spoelstra echoed it when we saw Bam in his not even his post game presser, his exit interview. He mentioned things are going to change, and knowing the guy with the silver hair, he expects something to change here pretty soon. Tyler Hero is like another James Harden to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like all that stuff you were doing in the regular season, where was it at in the playoffs? Where was it? So the Heat need a guy. If they're gonna get back to where they want to be, they need a guy. because since they lost Jimmy this season, and don't get me wrong, I think all the stuff that happened with Jimmy really did cripple this organization moving forward throughout this season, and they echoed that in the exit interviews as well. But they don't have that guy. Tyler Hero has once again shown us in the postseason that he's not that guy. Me
I think
personally,
I
go
think
ahead.
Tyler played well. I think maybe he didn't play as well in those two home games, but I feel like those first two games, he played pretty well.
He wasn't there to close when we need you to score in the fourth quarter. Where was he?
I mean, if you look at the end of the game too, they kind of lost that. Uh, they got some shots they wanted. Nico was open in the corner a couple times. He just missed. Obviously, he was coming back from injury, so looks like he didn't have his legs in that fourth quarter. He also had maybe like two turnovers. So, I mean, I think if you look at the first two games, he did the scoring to keep them in it. They just couldn't make the plays down the stretch. I think at home, no one kind of played well. So, and I think that's the thing where like if you look at the last two postseasons, they go win one in Boston and then they come back home and can't win a game. I think some reason why just and the players have talked about it a little bit. They haven't played as well as at home, kind of throughout the regular season too. So I think they gotta kind of figure out how they can play better at home.
Something's got to give. I don't see any way that they run it back with this roster. I think whether it's a trade or something like Jaime Jaquez Jr. just a complete sophomore slump this year. He fell out of the rotation at one point. I didn't understand Spo throwing Jovic in at a certain point when he hadn't played in like 2 months.
That's a tough position to put him in. You can see, like I was just saying, at the end of that fourth quarter, he kind of really didn't have his legs. So uh, tough position to put him in, but if he doesn't get hurt, he's probably in that position. So I still think you maybe go with Wiggins down the stretch of that game. Obviously,
Where
more
was
leg breaking.
Wiggins?
Wiggins,
Where was Wiggins? Wiggins is like he's like too tentative with the shots that he's taking.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to judge everything because the team just didn't play well in both of those two home, yeah, both of those two home games. So it's kind of hard to judge. Obviously, I guess Spo felt like he wasn't having that great of a game two to put him back in, and he went with Nico. But uh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I completely expect this team to look a bit different. Remember, I said it. I think Tyler Hero's name needs to get put back in trade conversations. He was an All Star this year. I think at this point we've got enough sample size of him in the postseason to say like we can't depend on you to be the number one option on this team.
Uh, uh, yeah, we'll see how it goes moving forward, brother.
Celtics Magic also kind of went a little bit differently. This I was with you on it going six, and at least the Magic were able to get one in this series, but again, just a little too much firepower. Maybe the series would have went differently if they had Suggs in the series for them, but they just didn't really have anybody that was really doing much for them offensively outside of Bankero. Um, I remember what was it the closeout game? It was like a 3 or 4 point game, and then the Celtics just went on a surge and completely blew them out.
Yeah, I think Apollo picked up three quick or two quick fouls to start the second half, and he went to the bench, and then they kind of blew it open after that. When we talked about it before the series started, I said it's going to come down to defense or offense, and it all depends on how much the Magic offense can keep up with them. And obviously, they couldn't keep up. So, I mean, they got one. I thought maybe they'll be able to get another one. I thought maybe that game four at home, it was close going down the stretch, but again, they just didn't have enough offense. I mean, you're starting Corey Joseph as your point guard in a playoff game in 2025, and I feel like you're already behind the A-wall if that is your case with your team. So I think point guard was an issue. I mean, you have Anthony Black, but coach seems to, I guess, not trust him yet, so he has to come off the bench. So I think, like you said, if they had Suggs, it'd be a different situation. Also, what happened to KCP? The guy can't make a jump shot no more. I don't know if it's the Jokic effect, but the guy was a knockdown shooter before he got there, and they needed shooting, so that's what they signed him for. And then now he can't make a shot. I don't know if it's just something in the water down in Orlando when you get there, you just can't make shots no more, or if it's the Jokic effect. But yeah, they just didn't have enough offense. They didn't have enough shooting, and I mean, I think that's been the issue the last 2 years. So hopefully they address that this summer.
Could be the water. I mean, the water's always been suspect to me the couple times I've been down over there. But
Uh,
um,
uh, uh, I'm not gonna let you talk about Orlando like that. Beautiful city. I spent two
it's a
years
very.
in
I'm
the.
just saying. I love Orlando. You know, they've got great food, and the Magic are fun to watch. But they've got Universal Studios and Disney World. But the water do be a
Don't
little different down there.
don't sleep on Orlando, man. I'll tell you, I had a real good time in my 2 years in Orlando.
I'm not. The
Uh,
downtown Orlando's fire. I love Orlando. But let's not act like there's a reason why people drink a lot of water bottles over there. How many people drinking tap water in Orlando like that?
that's a good question. It's hot out here though, so I'm sure everyone's staying hydrated. So, but the shout out to the old man. I had a great 2 years in the old man. I don't know about anyone else, but I was still hitting jump shots out there.
I think KCP is not much of a spring chicken these days either. So it could be a case of him just not having his legs under him like he once did. I don't know, but that went from a signing that looked really promising to you know, I don't know. But
This-
also, you mentioned point guard. So again, if Suggs is in there playing for them at point guard, does he get him better looks where his jumper might be falling a little bit more? Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, I watched it. He was getting good looks. He just, and it's been all season. It wasn't just that playoffs. His shooting wasn't really there all season. So, it wasn't just that series type of thing. So, he has some. They gotta get back to the drawing board with that and figure that out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Pacers Bucks. All I gotta say is, where's Meach at? Because Doc Rivers, let me hit that again. I had the volume off.
No, we heard it. Oh, well.
Doc Rivers, Doc Rivers is in Game Five. They were up, I think, 8 points with 40 seconds left or something like that.
Something along those lines.
They squandered. They go to overtime, and even in overtime, there's like 5 seconds left, and they're up by 2 points or 3 points, whatever it was. K Halliburton hits basically a buzzer beater, and they they uh they fumble the ball when they're going to inbound it. Yeah, this was the epitome of the Doc Rivers slander. This game, this series, this elimination game to me was the epitome of the Doc Rivers slander. You can't beat the allegations anymore.
As much as I like to blame Doc for this, I mean, Dame going down really hurt their chances. Him not being able to start the series for them really hurt their chances. And it's not Doc's fault that Gary Trent Jr. can't catch the ball. And he turned the ball over right before that. So, I mean, there wasn't much to blame for Doc there, as much as I don't care to defend him. But, like, just in this case, to give him a fair shake at it, it's not really there's some very unfortunate things. I mean, you can say maybe wherever he goes, bad luck starts to come because he gets the job. Giannis gets hurt in the playoffs last year. The defense kind of falls off. Uh, Dame gets hurt this year, comes back, gets hurt again, and then Gary Trent Jr. just can't catch the ball.
I mean, prayers up to Dame. That's something that definitely changes series too. But I can't excuse you when the last 40 seconds of the fourth quarter and the overtime, just the way that went. Like, I don't know,
I
Doc. I'm
mean,
looking
listen,
at you here.
Gary Trent turned the ball over twice. Doc can't go out there and catch the ball for the guy. The guy Doc can't go out there and tell him
What
not to
plays are
panic and throw the ball.
what plays are we running? Like what? How
There was
Gary is
there were
Gary Trent? Is
They were
Gary
at the
Trent
point where there's no plays to run. He just needs to catch and hold the ball. They're up.
with
There's 40
40
seconds left. You just have to
and they
catch
were
and
up
hold the
by
ball
8. It'd be different if you're up by 8, he just turns it over once. How do you squander an 8-point lead in 40
because
seconds?
he turned it over twice.
That's either way, that's either a 4 or 6 point difference. You should still be up
I
even
mean,
with two turnovers.
what's your AJ Green gave up an and one, or just gave him an extra point. Uh, yeah, they scored like 5 points and they were because they were up 7 with 40 seconds left. The Pacers had the ball. I think the Pacers hit a three. They called timeout. They inbound to Gary Trent Jr. He turns it over. The Pacers come down, get an and one. So they got 6 points in a couple seconds. And then they give it to Gary Trent Jr. again. He loses the ball. And then Halliburton scores again. They score 8 points in 40 seconds. There was no plays to be ran. Gary Trent just has to hold the ball.
That was bad, man. That was one of like the worst collapses I've seen in a while in the NBA. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I looked at my phone driving home from the gym. I was playing ball myself. And I looked, I was like, why are the Bucks up in this game? I said, wow, the Bucks are gonna win this game. It was 40 seconds left. They're up 8. I said, all right, well, I guess I don't see why we're going to game 6, but game 6, here we go. Put my phone down, drove home, and you have to see the shock on my face when I looked at my phone and they lost the game by 1. I was just totally confused. So yeah, shocking. And then when you see it, it's worse because it was a closeout game. If you had a chance to like redeem yourself and maybe you just lose, that's tough. But to lose a series like that is real tough.
Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, voted most overrated player by his peers. Hits the game winner, essentially the
Uh,
game winner.
I'm standing on that. I'm standing on it.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
He can have his little game winner. I mean, they beat the Bucks. They beat the Bucks twice, and it's like the Bucks wasn't healthy. He can have his little game winners. He can do his little dance, stand on a little table. Uh, I'm with. I listen. I'm nobody, but I'm with the players vote. Hey, if the players vote him overrated, who am I to say that he's not overrated? I'm standing on it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit that when we get to this Cavs Pacers series. But the last one in the East that we haven't touched on is the New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. Man, that for 6 games that was fun. And it went pretty much how we expected. We both said 6 games. Oh no, okay, you said 7.
I might have said something. We gotta go back and look at the tape.
Either way, it did almost go 7-2, but six games. Knicks take it out. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year, and boy did he show it in that game 6 because Asar Thompson was really doing work on him, taking away his left, and then when he hit that game winner at the end, he really found a way to make Thompson bite on that. Just following him left as soon as he took the bait, he goes straight right, hits the three to seal the deal. And yeah, you know what my thing with the Knicks in this series, the Knicks should have ended this series in like 5 games, and that's no disrespect to the Detroit Pistons. They're young, they're scrappy, they've got a bright future. I can't wait to see what they look like when Ivy comes back and when they have Stewart in these types of games as well. But the reason that the Knicks like it was harder than it needed to be. Number one, you're not getting consistent play out of other guys. Like you get a game where Bridges scores 8 points or 14 points, and then Bridges was a big reason why they won the closeout game. Aside from Brunson hitting the game winner, Bridges put up 25, and he had a hell of a performance on the defensive end. But if you're gonna go up against this Celtics team, you can't have inconsistent performances like that. Carl Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter took 2 shots. The number 2 option on the Knicks only took 2 shots in the fourth quarter. He missed both of them. He turned the ball over twice in the fourth quarter, and he was in foul trouble. I think he might have even fouled out of that game.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to look at it because you could say, while the Knicks should have won in five, you could say they maybe could have lost in five. Detroit had a 25-point lead in the first game. They blow that. There's a couple other like kind of dumb decisions that maybe Detroit made uh, throughout the series where maybe they could have won. Oh, the foul. The foul. That's what I was thinking of. I guess that's not Detroit's problem, but you say they could have maybe won game one. They were up 25. Game four, they maybe win if that foul gets called. If
It
you
was
think
a
it's a
foul.
foul,
No, it wasn't a
if
foul.
that gets
It was
called,
a foul.
then series is tied 2-2. They win game five. They could have been up 3-2, and maybe that game six was a closeout game for them, and maybe they win that. So there's two ways to kind of look at it. So I mean, I think they need to come out of this realizing that home court advantage is important, and then getting home court advantage and holding on to home court advantage when you do get it is important because you go into the Garden, win two games in the Garden, but you can't win a game at home, which is kind of tough to live through. So I think that's what they need to come out of here. Obviously, young team play really well at home in the Garden, which is a tough place to play. You play really well on the road in the Garden, which is a tough place to play. So now you just got to be able to come hold home court when you get it, and they could have won that series. Shout out to Brunson. I've been around some great players, great scorers myself. I know sometimes they have a little trump card in their back pocket that they're waiting to pull out. So while you think someone has them figured out defensively, they might have figured out how they can beat them and just been sitting on this move and pull it out when they need it. So shout out to him. Obviously, clutch player of the year.
Yeah. This is just going to be a learning experience for Detroit, like you highlighted. I mean, again, young team, JB Bickerstaff. We saw he built up this Cavs team. He just wasn't the guy to, get them to where they needed to be, and now he's building another team. He's got a great core over there. I mean, I was just talking to Rashad, friend of the show, about it. Monty just wasn't the guy to see a rebuild. I mean, like last year, like Ivy was barely getting minutes on that team, and before he got hurt this year, he was having a career year. So there's a lot of things that they could take away from this. I think if you're the Pistons, you want to make sure that you keep Malik Beasley in there. Pretty much all your I'd keep all my free agents if I can, and we'll see what happens next year because I mean their guards they're a little crowded there. I think I don't know. You think Ivy has a chance to make a comeback there after the injury? Sometimes these guys get injured and they come back and kind of fall out of rotation. Because I mean, I like Schroeder and I like Tim Hardaway Jr., but if I'm Bickerstaff, I'm going with the young guy. I
I think he'll be fine. It wasn't. I mean, it was he broke his ankle, right? Something like that.
think it was something with his
Uh,
knee.
uh,
I don't know, it was a
okay.
weird injury. I don't know.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't like
remember
tear his
Cole.
ACL or MCL. It was some weird.
Cole fell on it. I think he'll be fine. Obviously, he may lose some explosiveness or something. I can't remember the injury off the top of my head. So, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, some of those guys you can play at the three. You can try to find minutes for each one of them, and obviously you could possibly lose maybe someone in free agency. So you never know. You got to see kind of how the offseason plays out. But obviously you want to develop the young guy, and he was having a great season last year. It's probably gonna take some time for him to get the ball rolling again, but I think you still kind of go with the young guy just because that's kind of the trajectory of the team.
For sure. Lakers Timberwolves. We saw rookie coaching mistakes, playing your entire starting lineup for the entire second half. We learned that LeBron James tore his MCL during this series
Did he
and
tore it? I thought he just sprained it.
sprained it, tore it. I don't know. He had some kind of something going on there. But I mean, you don't know the biggest thing to me why I think the Lakers lost this series. Who would have thought that Rudy Gobert would have turned into Prime Shaq in a closeout game? But you know why he did it? What is the one thing that we constantly said the Lakers needed after they traded for Luka Doncic?
The center.
They needed a center. They had no real protection over there, and they're not playing like I didn't understand that from JJ Redick either. You're getting killed inside. Why don't you throw Jackson Hayes in there? Regardless of what you do or don't like from Jackson Hayes at this point, you got to try something. But that ultimately ended up being their undoing because
I forgot.
it wasn't like Ant played great in that closeout game either.
I forgot they had Alex Lynn too, so you could have maybe tried some big lineups, but I guess he felt like none of those were really going to help him. Uh, I mean, man, what a crazy series. The end of game four, you think maybe the Lakers were gonna win that, and then Ant kind of explodes in the fourth quarter. Uh, that foul call from the bird's eye angle comes down. Foul gets called on LeBron, gets the free throws, gets the Wolves free throws instead of Lakers getting the ball. So I mean, I picked the Lakers in five. I'm a little shocked at
Game did
this,
end in
but
5.
uh, I'm a little shocked at kind of how it turned out. But when you really look at it, I mean, I don't feel like the Wolves played super great, but I think the Lakers are kind of banking on Luca being able to attack that Gobert matchup like he did last year in the conference finals. And I think the Wolves coach kind of smartened up this time and said you're not going to beat us like that. And they still don't have that lob threat here. So it was a lot easier for them to kind of just blitz him off that screen. McDaniel's picking him up full court, making him use a lot of energy. So yeah, that was it. I mean, Nas Reed had a couple good games throughout the series. Rudy Gobert had that one great game. So a little shocked, but shout out to the Wolves.
Yeah, and they're gonna get to see the Golden State Warriors in the second round. It's just when you think it was the Godfather. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. The Warriors end up closing out Houston last night in 7 games. They had a 3-1 lead. Couldn't close them out in game 5. Couldn't close them out in game 6. Couldn't close them out in game 5. Couldn't finally get to close them out in game 7. My biggest takeaway with this series was that Jalen Green is going to get traded at some point this summer because Jalen Green is supposed to be that guy for the Rockets. He's your leading scorer. He led you throughout the season in scoring. You've got a winning record when he explodes. He's got the talent. He's got the talent. And I when I came on here, my expectation was that Ime was gonna do for Jalen Green what he did for Jalen Brown when he was in Boston. But that just we just didn't see it. I mean, even at a lot of games, he had only took like 8 shots. That can't when you're as good as Jalen Green is. I don't care if you're missing them or not. You got to keep shooting. So inconsistent play, letting us know that you're not the guy that we need you to be in these moments. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like what I was saying with the Miami Heat. You need a closer. You need a guy to go to in that fourth quarter that can get you a bucket. Right now, they don't have that, and the Warriors were able to capitalize on it. I mean, Houston played great defense for the most part, shutting not really shutting Steph down, but they did a lot of work to keep Steph from doing Steph things.
Yeah, I mean, if you trade him, what are you trading him for?
Kevin Durant.
Uh, that's a tough one for me. I don't know if I like the trade for either side.
Well,
Uh,
Phoenix is trading KD. We know this.
right. I'm saying for KD, I don't like the trade for KD
Also,
or for Houston.
Houston owns Phoenix's first round pick this year.
Right. But
They're gonna want that back.
yeah, but if you're KD, why do you want to go there?
I mean, you got Jabari Smith Jr., you got Fred Van Vliet. You've got pieces over there that you can work with. Amin Thompson looks really good. So I mean, like if you're just a missing piece, you did this with the Cavs last time we was on here.
Uh, because like if listen, if this is KD at 28 when he was leaving OKC, sure. This is KD at 38. No, it's not a good spot for him. Like he while he can be the number one option, if there's a team loading up on him because the rest of the team can't score, like kind of like what was just happening with Steph, I don't know if that's the great spot for a 38-year-old. And for me, as the Rockets, I don't know if I'm willing to trade Jalen Green for that. While like he's a better scorer and he would have made the series look better, it doesn't get you over the top either because you're banking on a 38-year-old to kind of like will you guys? And I just don't know if that's the best spot if I'm KD.
I hear what you're saying. I just like
At
Jalen
38, I
Green.
don't want to be like how he complains about the OKC days. It was just him and a whole bunch of athletes who couldn't shoot, and he was relied on to score every bucket. He goes to Houston, it's the same thing again.
Yeah,
And
Jabari Smith Jr.
now he's at 38.
Jabari Smith Jr. can shoot. Fred Van Vliet when he's on can shoot.
The, those pieces are not getting you over the top in the West. It's just not. It'd be like you might as well stay with Devin Booker for that. I'd rather stay with D Book. At least he can get me 30.
Yeah, but they don't have a point guard.
I mean, sure, but like D Book or Fred Van Vliet as your point guard, I'd rather D Book. Like,
Look at the Houston Rockets were the number 2 seed in the West this year. Like and they were up there for most of the season. Like it wasn't like,
congrats to
a
them.
lot oh my god. You know,
Congrats to them. I'm
their
38. I'm
biggest
not
their,
doing it.
their biggest problem was they didn't have a guy that they could go to and depend on to get them a bucket when they needed him. That's really why they lost this series.
And they need a guy that's like 28. I'm 38. I'm not going. I'm
I
not. I'm
I'm
not going.
I'm very convinced that Jalen Green's out of there. So who is it? Because we know Booker's off limits according to what they're saying in Phoenix.
I mean, you'll see how kind of the offseason plays out and see who becomes available. But honestly, how old is the guy? How old is the kid? 23, 22. You go through tough playoff series. You hope he learns from it. You run it back, and hopefully he can develop. You have him at a young age where maybe he can develop into that. Not unless you're trading me a young superstar at the moment. I'm not going. I'm not. I mean, like not unless someone else is coming with KD, but then you're like you're basically reshaping that whole roster, and you're kind of back in the situation with KD when he was on the Nets and the Suns. You get him, but now you have to reshape your whole roster around him and now that you're good at roster construction, it probably starts to look like a mess, kind of how those other two spots went. If I'm KD, there's better options out there where I can kind of just maybe plug and play and won't have to carry the team too on top of
Like the Miami Heat.
that. I know that he are the same situation.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. Um, what else did you see in that Houston Golden State series?
Phew. I mean, Thompson's really good. Really well defensively. He can't really shoot, but I think they play really good defense on Steph, but I'm concerned about his hand. I mean, I think they play good defense, but I think his hand has maybe slowed them down a little bit. Uh,
Yeah, his hand, that photo that they had of him walking, that like his knuckle on his thumb looks like the peach emoji.
and the Warriors are small. The Warriors are really small, so I wonder how that's going to affect them in this next series against the Wolves, who are really big. Pause.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think Jimmy hasn't even really turned up yet. Like he's had some moments in this first round, but I still think that there's more that we can see from him. I'm a little worried about Steph's hand too, but even like the Rockets all year, every time they matched up with the Warriors, played really good defense on Steph. Like I don't know if we're gonna see that from Minnesota, other than like whoever's defending him, whether it's Ant or Conley or whoever else they're gonna throw on him, McDaniel's maybe. Um, Outside of trying to attack his hand, like are they gonna be that effective on him the way that the Rockets were?
Uh, I don't know, but I'm also worried about the Warriors others. Uh, can heal. Brzezinski, can those guys make enough shots? Gary Payton Jr. or the second, whichever one he is. Uh,
The second, his brother's junior.
okay, the second, and then whoever's on their bench, which I don't think they got much from their bench this series. So I'm worried about kid. While the Rockets, you only needed kind of enough because their offense wasn't there. The Wolves have defense and they got scoring. So can the others keep up that scoring if Steph or Jimmy are having a slow night or if Jimmy has to miss the game or something, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what I was talking about with the Knicks too. Like, can you get that consistency from these guys? I'm looking at Steve Kerr a little bit too because I feel like I don't know, was Kaminga in his doghouse? Like he played in, was it game two and then
Uh,
or game three? Yeah, he played
I
in
think
game
it's I think
three.
it's yeah, I think it's the game Jimmy missed. So I think it's game three.
Played in game three, and then like he got no minutes in game four or five. I'm not even sure how much he played in game six. So like, is that gonna be a thing? Like, I think Kaminga's a little too good to just be riding your bench, regardless of the guys that you have in there.
Nah, I mean maybe. They've been trying to throw this Kaminga guy in our face for mad long. I've heard Draymond say that he's going to be a superstar. They've been trying to throw the guy in our face for mad long, and I thought they were doing that to build up his trade value so they can trade him. But this is kind of what I expected from the guy. Maybe getting a couple more minutes than what he's getting, but I'm not. I never thought he was that superstar that they made him out to be. I thought they should have sold him while his stock was high, but I guess they really believed in what they were seeing, and now here we are.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. We'll dig into that second round series in a little bit, but the one that I wanted to get into before we move into the second round, Nuggets Clippers. Again, we you called it a pick 'em. I said I thought it was gonna go seven. I am done picking the Clippers. I have picked the Clippers to go far every single postseason since Kawhi got there, and they've only made one run, and it wasn't even with Kawhi. I don't know if it's me. Maybe I got the Stephen A curse with the finals and I'm just bad luck to the Clippers. And if that's true, I'm sorry, Clippers Nation. But yeah, like it's not working out. Like it goes 7 games. They completely get blown out in game seven. James Harden, where you at? Another clutch time performance from James Harden where he is nowhere to be found where you need him the most. Hey, you guys ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender? When the world needed him most, he vanished. This is what we have been talking about with James Harden since his Houston days. Like, whether it's not taking enough shots or just not coming through when you need him. Like he will fail you when you need him the most. Like that was my biggest takeaway. Kawhi, I mean not Kawhi. Ty Lue waved the white flag halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, I think losing that game four at the buzzer kind of really hurt them. I mean, they were down 20 for most of the
That
game,
was
but they're
crazy though.
able. Yeah, losing that game, especially the way they lost it, was tough. I mean, they lose game five and then win game six. So I feel like they fought hard. Again, it was just two really close teams. Getting that 4 or 5 matchup is tough for them. I think for them, last year they lost in the 4 or 5 matchup. They need to find a way to kind of maybe have a little better season to stay out of that 4 or 5 matchup. So each year in that 4 or 5 matchup in the West, you're going up against another contender. So there's a chance you could be knocked out in the first round, but just to a very good team. So it's kind of tough. I mean, they didn't have home court advantage, so that kind of hurt them in this one. So I didn't expect a blowout in the end, but again, we both said that it's kind of like pick me series, and the Nuggets were able to come away, but they got the home court, so I think that's kind of what made the difference in that.
The other big thing um in this series was Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook came through for the Denver Nuggets in this series. He was a big reason why they were able to close this thing out.
Yeah, obviously motivated because he used to play for the Clippers. I thought he'll make an impact on the defensive end, just knowing James Harden as well as he knows James. So, but I think he was motivated. I think they say he shot like 41% from three. So
He shot better from
that's
three than most of the Clippers starters.
yeah. So shout out to him. Obviously, no one's seen that coming, but if they're gonna leave you open, he has the confidence to take them. So I think he was motivated. He was with the Clippers last year, and I think he had made a comment about, oh, they picked someone over me. So he was motivated to kind of, knock those guys out. So maybe that's all he needed.
Where do you want to start off with in the second round? Want to just go Cavs Pacers since we already got a game one?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
How many of us saw the Pacers going up 1-0 yesterday before that game?
I would say I didn't see it, but I told everyone I'm not watching the series, so I didn't see nothing coming. It sounds like a
So
boring series. Nobody wants to watch it, but the game one was good. I mean, I think the Cavs are. Coming off that Heat series, I think coming into this series, that pace that the Pacers play at, I don't think they were ready for. I think the Pacers came out early, hit them in the mouth. The Pacers get up and down. They don't want to play too much defense. They just want to score. So I think the Cavs thing in this series is, can they have enough scoring? Missing Garland yesterday, I think, really hurt them. I mean, obviously he has a real injury, but I think they thought maybe they can buy him a little more time. But the way this Pacer team plays, I think you need the scoring, or you have to slow the game down. I think the Cavs are like, hey, we can kind of keep up with them and just go. But I think everyone, when you play the Pacers, you got to be prepared for that pace that they're going at. So I think if you're the Cavs, you want to slow it down. It will be different with Darius Garland because he could score a little more, and I think that's what they miss, someone else that can go create a shot and kind of score in there. But now they're saying that Hunter may be hurt and that
Mobley.
Mobley might be hurt. So if that's the case, then they're really in trouble. But Garland should be back for next game. But I think at least without Mobley, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the Cavs. Yesterday watching that game, they looked like a team that hasn't played basketball in about a week, which is the case. But aside from that, mentioning that they weren't ready, just like you, I felt like they really missed Darius Garland in that series. We're looking at Donovan Mitchell right now, whether it's fair or not. We're looking at Donovan Mitchell to really play superhero for the Cavs in this series, especially if they're going to be missing out on those guys. Because if you don't have an Evan Mobley in there, as much as I like Jared Allen as a player, those bigs, whether it's Obi Toppin or Miles Turner, are gonna eat. And the most overrated player in the NBA is certainly gonna be setting guys up for success as well. So we'll see. I think game two is tomorrow,
Yeah, I think so.
so we'll see. If the Cavs really have to deal with these injuries, because it sounds like Darius Garland isn't going to play game two either. And if these, if I don't know, I think Hunter might play.
I
I think
heard
Hunter
they
might.
said Darius Garland's supposed to play game two. At least that's what they were saying during game one. That he said if it's the regular season, he may miss 2 weeks, but he's aiming for game two. I don't know if that's changed since then. Uh, if they don't have those guys, they're in trouble. I mean, uh, you can maybe get due without Hunter, but you're gonna need Garland and Mobley. Uh, you definitely gonna need Garland. You need another guard that can get in there and create for himself and create for others and control the pace and different things like that. So I mean, Donovan tried to do as much as he can. It was one of those things where they'll get it close, but just couldn't get over the hump. So it's gonna be tough for them. But I think now that they got hit in the mouth, they see the pace. So I think they'll be able, as long as everyone's gonna play, I think they'll be able to bounce back. But might be a little scared for them going to Indiana because now the crowd's gonna be involved and that's gonna be tough. So I mean, I told you guys I didn't believe in the Cavs last series. If they win this one, they'll get some respect from me.
I mean, they shouldn't be too scared going back to Indiana because Halliburton's dad got banned, so they don't have to worry about that. But I don't know. Okay, I think that this might be a 7 game series. I don't know,
It might be
especially if
five.
the
The Cavs
injuries
might
are
be in
that
trouble.
real.
Cavs might be in trouble.
Yeah,
Let's see how
if
game
these
two. Let's see how
injuries.
game two go. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the Pacers in six. I don't really believe in the Pacers either. I feel like they're frauds too, but it's just a fraud series. So the winner of the fraud series goes to the Pacers in six after what I seen in game one.
Are the Pacers frauds if they go to back-to-back conference finals
Frauds.
though?
Yes, the whole Eastern Conference is frauds.
Oh my god.
The whole Eastern Conference is fraud.
The East is not as bad as it once was.
It might be worse.
I feel like they're top heavy. I don't
They've
know.
always
Giannis
been
keeps
top
going
heavy.
out. But it's not just one team. Like when LeBron was on the Cavs, we always knew that the Cavs were going to be the team that gets through the East.
That's because like the East is so trash. You have that one superstar like that who's gonna run through the conference. They just don't have that one superstar like that. I mean, Boston's a very
But
well
we've had
team, but
the
like
the, the Celtics are your defending champs right now. They beat a pretty good team to win the chip last year. Let's not take nothing away from them.
pretty good
And it's
team. Oh, come on, that team. You see what happened to that team this year? They had to trade their best player because they don't play no defense.
I mean, you have championship slumps every once in a while. It happens. It happens. In
You
nineteen
know,
ninety, the Detroit Pistons had to trade Adrian Dantley because they needed a change. They weren't playing well, and then it ended in a second championship.
Adrian Dantley.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
taking it back a little bit.
all right. Listen, the Celtics are a very well-rounded team, but like, who's the best player in the East? Jet Tatum.
Um, it's debatable. I don't know, man. Jalen Brunson's pretty good. Clutch player of the year.
Now look at all the firepower in the West. Like,
I'm not
whatever.
comparing the East to the
If
West
Steph
though.
Curry
I'm
was in
just
the
pe-
West, they'll be running through the East. I mean, if Steph Curry was in the East, they'll be running through the East.
I'm not comparing the East to the West. All I'm saying is like it's not garbage. Like you can go through the East and still compete with whoever comes out of the West. Miami came out of the East and they took what was it? They lost to the Nuggets in 6 games.
They lost in five.
All right.
What was it? What was it? The Warriors the year before that? They beat the Celtics in six. Who was the
They
year
were
before that?
babies. They were babies.
The year
The year before
before
that was
this?
the Heat. The year before that was the Heat.
No, the Heat was the year after that. The Heat and
Oh, it
Nuggets was
was
the year after that.
last okay, so
I think
last
that
year
was
was the Celtics.
Giannis's. I think it was Giannis because that's 21.
Giannis over the Suns.
That was Giannis. Giannis is a whole world superstar. Giannis might be the best player in the East. His team is just trash. Giannis should really be running through the East every year. They just been had bad luck the last 2 years.
Yeah, because they got Doc Rivers.
And the year before that was Kawhi, though. Obviously, Kawhi, superstar. He got out of there. Then the Warriors. Yeah. Uh, Giannis is probably the best player in the East. He's like
Yo,
the
I didn't realize how stacked that Raptors team was until like yesterday. I like seen a post of like all the guys that were on that team. Like I didn't even
stacked.
I didn't even I didn't even remember that Norman Powell was on that team.
OG was on the team too, but I don't think he played.
Yeah,
I
he
think he
got
was
hurt
hurt.
though. He got hurt like right before the playoffs. They had
Stacked.
OGN and not
Stacked
like
is a
super
stretch.
OGN and Obi, one of the
Hurt.
best
He
three
didn't
and D
play.
players. But I'm just saying, like these are the guys they
All
had
right.
on the team. OG Ananobi, one of the best 3 and D players right now. Norm Powell, love him on the
Solid.
Clippers. Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard,
Solid.
Fred Van Vliet.
Solid. Solid.
And some of those guys weren't even starters.
Yeah, because Kyle Lowry started. I think Fred came off the bench.
It's crazy stuff.
They had Marcus All. They had Serge Ibaka.
They did
Solid
have
team.
Marcus Gasol. Wow, Marcus Gasol got a ring. Shout out Marcus Gasol.
Yeah. Uh, Serge Ibaka. They had a solid team. I mean, if KD doesn't get hurt, then it's a different conversation. So, but whatever.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. I think we'll see. I'm
Who you
kind of
got, man?
teetering. I think
Who you got?
Cavs and if it goes 7, I'll pick the Cavs, but I might go
Well, you
Pacers
can't
and
give us two
6.
answers. You gotta pick one.
Pacers and 6, just because I'm really worried about these injuries that I'm hearing about over there.
All right. Well, the fraud Pacers back-to-back conference finals. Let's get it. Uh, overrate that.
Oh man, we sticking
Just
in
for
the
them.
East. What's up?
Nah, I was just for them to probably get swept in the in the conference finals again. But we can go on to let's go on to the next series. Actually, let's do the Knicks series last because that's the game that's going to come on right after this.
You want to do Timberwolves Warriors or Thunder Nuggets?
Let's do Timberwolves Warriors, and then we'll do Thunder Nuggets, and because those are two games tonight.
Yes, like I told you guys earlier, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Just when I think the Warriors are done, they bring me back. And of course, me, a Heat fan, is rooting against the Warriors because I don't want to see Jimmy have success after everything that he did to the Heat this year. But here we are. I do not like this matchup. All things about Curry's hand aside, I do not like this matchup for Minnesota. I know everybody's talking about Minnesota size pause, but I don't know, man. Playoff Jimmy's a real thing. Playoff Jimmy's a real thing. Draymond, albeit I think he's like two techs away from getting suspended. That presence is that presence is making its way known. I mean, Podsminski, he's got to play a little better, but he's showing us some stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Warriors might be back in another conference finals this year. I'm not gonna bet against them.
So, where's you going? Warriors and what?
I'm going Warriors in 6.
I am torn. Jimmy's gonna have to be playoff Jimmy's in this one. I don't think the Warriors can get out of this series the same way they got out of this last series. And obviously, I mean, the Wolves play really good defense. So, I mean, it's not like it's about to be a pushover, but I think the Rockets played really aggressive defense. But I guess the Wolves might try some of the same things. I think, like I said, I'm worried about the others in the series for the Warriors. Can Brzezinski make enough shots? Because the kind of reason why they got out of that Rocket series is because the Rockets just can't score enough. The Wolves can score enough. The Wolves, Nas is gonna get his buckets. Ant's gonna get his buckets. Julius Randle has been playing well. He's gonna get his buckets. So they need to match that scoring as well as the defense in this one. What scares me about the Wolves is Rudy Gobert. Are they gonna be willing to bench him in this one? While they were able to get away with it in the Lakers series because they didn't have no bigs. The Warriors don't have no bigs, but you can't play a drop coverage with Steph. You also can't blitz him because he drops off the Draymond, and that opens up that Draymond Steph pick and roll that's been killing people for years. So I think you'll have to go small with Randall and Nas and switch a lot. So if you play drop with Steph, Steph just gonna pull up for that three every time. This is gonna be a tough series for Gobert.
Man, they got Draymond Green playing center for them right now.
Yeah, they're extremely small. They're extremely small, and I just don't know. I, Rudy Gobert's kryptonite in the playoffs have been people playing small against him. The Lakers haven't wasn't able to exploit that, but every other team has. So the series really comes down to Rudy. How
Yeah, and
well
I
can he
think that
slide
that
his
that
feet defensively? Is he going to be in drop coverage? What happens with Rudy on the defensive side really determines this series. He can't switch on the Steph. You can't really play him in drop coverage. You can't really blitz Steph. So like what happens with that, or how well he can move his feet if he does switch.
I think
With
he
that
loses
being,
that matchup. I think he
yeah, I think
loses
you have
that
to bench
matchup,
him. I think you have to bench him. I think
and
you
that's a
have to.
problem.
Not really, because they can go small but stay big. Nas Reed's like 6'10. Julius Randle's like 6'10. I mean, the biggest guy that the Warriors got is uh Draymond Green, who's like 6'7", playing center. But if you put Nas Reed in with Randle, you're going still stay solid defense. You're going to be better defensively in the series and better offensively in the series because Nas Reed and Randle are giving you better offensive than you would probably have with Rudy Gobert in this series.
My thing is like the same way I just mentioned how Gobert went off because he took advantage of the fact that there's not a center. Like not enough people are talking about Luca's lack of success with the Lakers this year. Luca, one of the reasons Luca killed so much is because he had somebody in the paint that he could depend on whenever he's getting doubled up. He didn't really have anybody in the paint on the Lakers that he can depend on when he needs them to be there.
And the Warriors have that because Draymond will be there for that drop off to Steph.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
I want like even bro, like I think that Julius Randle capitalized on that too. Like I'm sticking to my guns that the Randle handle was real. Like I still saw it in the Lakers series. Like just not making the smartest decisions in certain points in the game. A team like the Warriors, I think, is going to capitalize on that. Jimmy Butler, I think, could make nights hectic for Julius Randle if that's how he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna see. I think you're gonna see a lot of Nas in this series and how well Nas plays, and I think you'll see a lot of Nikhil Alexander Walker. I love Mike Conley, but ah, chasing around Steph at this age. I mean, Steph is probably the
Yeah,
same age as him, but I think Nikhil Alexander Walker is someone you can kind of do like the Rockets did, have him guard him full court, get up in him. You've seen him do that against Jamal Murray. Uh, and the matchups too. Do you put Randall on Jimmy Butler, and do you put McDaniels on Steph and kind of do the same thing you did with Luca, guard him full court, and then having to kill Alexander Walker and come and keep that same pressure going up. Uh, you can put Ant on him at some time, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting series. I am going to pick. I am torn. I am. I think I'm like you. I do this every year. It's hard for me to pick against the Warriors. I don't know. I think I've said this thousands of times on this podcast. I don't know if I'm traumatized. Yeah, I wouldn't say really traumatized, but because I mean, they did something to me in 2016, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not like the Rockets. They ain't been traumatizing me for 10 years. I ain't like the Houston fans. It's just hard to pick against them. So I'm going to pick the Warriors and and six. I think they win game two. I'm gonna pick the Warriors in
I'm
six.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you. I'm picking the Warriors in six, but I think the Warriors are going to win the opening game.
Uh,
I do
I
I
think that
do I do think they split in Minnesota.
I think they split in Minnesota. I think honestly, I really want to pick the Wolves. I'm not gonna bet against the Warriors.
My
uh,
only thing with
Kenny
like
Atkinson has
m-
won Coach of the Year.
good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, it was
He
a
deserves
lot
it.
of tough candidates this year. Bickerstaff was up there. Uh, Houston's coach, I forgot his name. Idoka was up there too.
Ime.
They both did. Yeah, they both did good
Yeah, but
good this year.
we've like we saw what Ime was already gearing up to do. They went from like one of the worst teams in the league to making the play in last year. I mean, obviously going from the play in to the two seeds a big jump, but I don't know. JB Bickerstaff and Kenny Atkinson should have been neck and neck because what they've done for both of those teams. It's weird to say because like they swapped
Right.
JB Bickerstaff for Kenny Atkinson, but what they've done for both of those teams is
Yeah, that's a tough one
that's
because you go from being the worst team in the league to the fifth seed, and then you go
sick.
from being the fifth seed to the one seed. So I mean, you probably say the worst team to the sixth seed is probably the bigger jump, but both of them did a great job. Just hard when you're the number one seed and been holding on to that for most of the time in the conference.
Yeah. Back on the Minnesota Golden State series, my one thing that's like I'm think even though I'm picking the Warriors in six, my one thing that's like in my head is Ant working with Steve Kerr during the Olympics this past summer. Like, does that come back to bite Steve Kerr?
I don't know. I think both sides have motivation. If you could take it back to 2009, the Timberwolves passed on Steph twice. This is gonna be the first time he's ever played them in a playoff series. You take it back to Ant's draft. Uh, Ant worked out for the Warriors, and Steve Kerr told them,
Wiseman.
if we had the number one pick, we would not take you. So there's motivation. I mean, Ant's knocking down legends right now, so I guess he doesn't need too much motivation. So I don't know. Steph is a different beast. I mean, he got KD, he got Braun. I think Steph is just a different beast. I think the Warriors are going to struggle offensively to keep up offensively in this series. That's why I think the Wolves will win game one. I think they're gonna the game plan for game one is get out, They just came off a grueling 7 game series. They only have 48 hours. Get get at them up and down. Try to run them out the gym. Try to get them legs tired. So they have enough people to sub in and out. You still got DiVincenzo on that bench, who he didn't play really well in that Lakers series, but if he can hit some more shots, uh, they have some rotation. So I think that's why I'm leaning against them in game 1, but I think game 2 when they settle down and everything, they get a little more rest. I think they'll be fine. Uh, I, I'm gonna stay with the Warriors in 6, but I think the Wolves have a really good chance.
Yeah, same. That's just been in my head. Like I'm gonna keep thinking about it. But yeah, I'm going with the Warriors in 6 on this one, just because of all those things I said. They've got. I just think that it's a better matchup. I really
Uh,
don't expect to see them do the stuff that they did against the Lakers. That's my biggest thing. Like that the Lakers have to find a center this offseason. Like
but
that
the
it was
Warriors don't
very
have one
clear.
either. I mean, Draymond's a
But
very good
Draymond,
defender,
yeah.
but
Hey, don't forget.
that's what I'm saying. Rudy Gobert is the difference in this series. How well he plays and what they do with him is the difference in this series. Do they live and die with him, or do they take him out and go more Nas Reed and Randall? I think if you go more Nas Reed than Randall, the Wolves have the advantage. That's more offense, solid defense. You can play better defense, switching everything. Uh, how well DiVincenzo and Nikhil Alexander Walker plays off the bench. And that's another thing. The Wolves have a better bench. And I think I don't know if the Warriors can keep up offensively. I'm picking them straight because I'm traumatized and I'm scared to pick against.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know, man. Said, they're gonna have to go more Nas Reed than Randall because I'm not trusting Randall against
I
Draymond
think you got to
Green
play
and
both of them together. You got to get rid of. I don't think Rudy can play in the series. We're gonna see. I don't think he can play in the series. You got to play Randall and Nas Reed together. I mean Jimmy Butler and
yeah. If Jimmy's on, like that's a nightmare matchup for them.
yeah, but Jimmy. I think Randall should be able to hold him. Jimmy's not really like blowing by people too much. Randall just needs to be physical when you need to, and like just play him solid. Like he's not like someone you have to worry about like kind of because my problem with it is like does Randall have the foot speed to keep up with him? But the way Jimmy plays now is more kind of at a slow pace. He's just getting to his spots, so he just needs to play solid defense. Use his because he's gonna probably have a strength advantage against him. Use your strength advantage. It's just gonna be on the offensive end. Are they gonna put Draymond Green on him? And how does he, like you said, does he go back into his Randall Handle thing and have a problem scoring on Draymond Green? That's why I said Nas Reed comes in. But now Jimmy Butler's probably on Nas Reed. But you can do different things with Nas Reed, run him off screens, different things like that. Uh, so if he plays well, it could be the difference.
Yeah, I'm with you. Um, Clippers OKC. I mean, you're the one. You're the biased one in this one, so I feel like you should kind of.
Uh, Denver, you said Clippers. It's Denver,
My
OKC.
bad. My bad. My bad. Nuggets. Nuggets OKC.
Oh man, that's another one I'm torn between. I really didn't like the way the Thunder looked in that first round series. They won it, but I think it was more like Minnesota. I mean, the Grizzlies looking bad than like the Thunder playing just out of their mind. I don't. I've watched probably every matchup they had this year, and I love Hartenstein, but he can't hold Jokic really. We'll see how that matchup kind of unfolds here. We'll see if they try to do a lot of the same things where you have a lot of the same thing the Wolves did last year, where you kind of have Chet roam the back line as that back defender, kind of cut off that dunker spot, but you're also protecting the rim, kind of like Rudy Gobert did last year. Uh, if they try to just play Jokic straight up, I think the kind of like what I was saying in the Clippers series, the Denver doesn't really have good wing defenders, so I think Shea can kind of get off in this series. I mean, you could try maybe going Aaron Gordon on him to get some more height, kind of like you did with Kawhi. Uh, but it's tough. I think I'm gonna I'm gonna lean towards Denver. I think OKC's like inexperience is gonna come back to haunt them in this, and I'm gonna go with Jokic. I think they're gonna have a tough time holding Jokic. Uh, even though Denver won that series, but I guess the Clippers are a tough team too. I'm gonna go Denver. I think Jokic is gonna be the difference here. I don't know if they're gonna be able to hold Jokic. Maybe he's motivated with all the MVP talk and stuff. I'm gonna go Jokic being the difference. I'm gonna pick Denver six. Denver at six.
It's an interesting thing because when we got off of last season, everybody, us included, was saying OKC needed to get a center over there. You want to move Chet, away from that, and they did. They get Hartenstein, bring him in. I mean, it's been a pretty good fit so far. Now that they've had time to him and Chet have had time to play together. Um, I mean, I don't know. That's OKC is just such a good team. Like
Yeah.
every piece you put together. Like I don't. Has Sam? How many? Has Sam Presti won an Executive of the Year yet? I've been like singing Sam Presti's praises to be Executive of the Year since he lost. Like since he brought in Paul George and
He
he
didn't win it
definitely
last year.
did. He might have. I'm just drawing a blank right
If
now.
he
But
did, it might not be since like I feel like he even won it in the OKC days. I feel like 2012 might be the last time he maybe won it. Uh,
Sam Presti is the like the one of like top three executives in this league from drafting three MVPs back to back to back to get you lose KD, Russ wins the MVP, and then you bring in Paul George and Melo. Like when you get off of them and then you go into a rebuild. Like they went into the playoff, like making sure that you get Shea in the trade back for PG. Drafting what are the guards names? J Will. I always get them confused. Is it
J
J? They
Dub.
got two. Yeah, there's two of them. There's two
They
of them
got
with the same name.
yeah, J Dub. He called himself J Dub, so we gonna call him J Dub.
So they got J Dub over there. Obviously, Shay's gonna do what he does. Chet is like the new age Slim Reaper. Hartenstein's doing his thing. Their bench is solid. It's hard to pick against them, and I do think that this series is gonna go the distance, kind of like how I thought the Clippers series would go with the Nuggets. But you know what changed things for me? First of all, full disclosure, I want to see Russ win a ring. I do. But that's not why I'm saying this. When I watched the way that they won game 4, that dunk that Aaron Gordon hit, I don't know, something just like clicked for me. Like teams have moments where you're just like, nah, they're on one right now. Like I could just see them going on a run after that. That was the moment for me with the Nuggets.
The difference is where I can see OKC winning is that they have a lot of guards who defend to throw at Jamal Murray. If you remember that Wolves series last year, the Wolves had a lot of guards and defenders that throw at Jamal Murray to guard in full court and make it tough for him. I mean, they ended up figuring it out to push it to seven, but I think from Caruso to J Dub to Kayson Wallace to Shea to Lou Dort, they have so many guards to throw at him, guard him full court. I don't think he's going to get a breather in this series, and that's kind of what it looked like last year against the Wolves. I think they can make it really tough for him, and if he struggles, the Nuggets are in trouble. And I don't know if Jokic will have enough to take him over the top by
I'm gonna
himself.
tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree, because they didn't have a Russell Westbrook in that series. Russ is still the energizer that he was 5 years ago. Has he lost a step? Sure, but he's still he still
Listen,
gives you that spark.
I if I am the Thunder, I'm living with that. If Russ beats us, you shake his hand, congratulations. But Russ is so random sometimes. You even seen it in that last series that you'll live with his randomness. If it works out for them, great. If it doesn't, we're good. And then we also still, like I just said, all you see all the defenders I just named, one of them will be guarding Russ too. So he's always gonna have a good defender on him too. So he's not getting a break either. Their guards are getting no breaks this series. The Thunder have too many guards to throw at people. They're gonna have a good guard on both of them at all times. So like he may even struggle too because they just have so many guards that play defense.
I'm more worried about Michael Porter Jr. in this series with you saying that because we already know he's playing with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, but the thing, Michael Porter Jr., he's like a shooter, so like I'm worried about him putting the ball on the floor. If they have to force him to put the ball on the floor, then he's like, you know. But if you just throw it to him like a grenade and he just has to shoot the ball, he be hitting shots like that. So if he's just gonna do his random catch and shoot stuff that he does, cool. Him putting it on the floor would be more of a struggle for him. I'm not as worried about him because those are his shots. It's just if he makes or misses them, they're not really going to disrupt him too much. He's going to get the open looks. He's going to get whatever shots he gets. He's going to take his shots. That's what he's used to. If they run him off the 3 point line and start making him create and do stuff, then I'm worried about him. And maybe they do that. But I feel like you'll live with him just taking his random threes like he does. And if he wasn't just like a like I don't say like random, but he's like he takes like tough 3 pointers. So like you'll live with those that case he either makes them or misses them. So I don't know if they're gonna disrupt like his flow too much, but I think Jamal Murray and Rush they're gonna get up under them and try to make it tougher for them where they're gonna there's gonna be someone like in their handle at all times,
Yeah, I feel you.
cutting off their drives, trying to stop them, like cutting off all that type of stuff. So I think it'll be tougher on them just getting the ball off the court, uh, type of thing. So if I was the Thunder, I'll
I
do
can
that
see that.
and block Katie to the Rockets. It's kind of low, but I can see the top of it, bro. Katie's not going to the Rockets. I'm gonna tell y'all that right
It
now.
said
Katie's not going to the
a
Rockets.
reporter is saying that the Suns are the ones that are eyeing it.
Yeah, Katie, but Katie's not going there. He's not going there. He's not going there. He's not going. I'm gonna tell you right now. Here are the two places Katie is going.
Bro,
He's go.
you did
he-
this already last show. Like,
He's going. He's going to the Thunder or he's going to the Timberwolves. Whichever one of them don't make it to the conference finals right now, that's where Katie's going. And honestly, I think it's the Timberwolves. It depends on how far they make
I
it.
definitely
But
see it more Timberwolves.
if you think about it, Alex Rodriguez is now their owner, former athlete. You know, that's something that may entice him. Ant's there. When Ant there, you don't have to be the best player. You just need to fit in. You don't have to be the leader. What people complain about KD? He's not the leader. He's not that. He doesn't have to be the leader. He just has to come in and score and play basketball. He has a former player as an owner. I mean, baseball player, but former athlete as an owner. Uh, it's I feel like Katie likes going to these teams that like never won a championship. Like you go from the Nets to the Suns. I think he likes that. So I think that entices him a little bit too. And they don't have to gut their whole roster to get him. You give up Randall, DiVincenzo, what's the rookie guy name? A couple rookies.
Get
Yeah,
Dillingham.
yeah. Dillingham, and then you can give up Gaza. KD fits right in. All you do
Yeah,
is
you
replace
kind of,
Randall with KD. Perfect deal.
yeah,
KD to
you
the
might have been,
Wolves.
you might be on something. We might have to. I'm clipping this because I actually kind of like that trade for the Suns. I like it for the Wolves too, but that's not a bad trade back for the Suns.
The Wolves also have picks they could throw at them and stuff. I mean, yeah, you get a young point guard, you get Julius Randle, who's solid, come in. You get DiVincenzo as a shooter, and you get some picks. Uh, Wolves don't have to give up too much. You just plug and play KD right in.
Is this your bridges to the Knicks?
I mean,
Or
I will, in full disclosure, that trade was offered at the trade deadline. So I didn't just come up with that trade myself. That trade was offered
but
at the
you were pretty
deadline.
convicted though. You were pretty like adamant that it was gonna
No,
happen.
not the Bridges thing. The Bridges thing was
Oh,
all off the
okay.
top of my head. The Bridges thing, that's all me. This KD trade, the trade I just said was announced like at it was on the table apparently at the trade deadline. That's how I know the trade would work. So it's something that I mean it's been rumored that the Wolves are going to talk about it again. And if I'm the Wolves, I would do it too.
Yeah, you
I
would.
mean, I would think about it too. You match Ant, you see how close KD and Ant was at the USA thing. You get him, you traded Cat away, but if you replace him with KD, I think you kind of make up for it.
Yeah, I'm clipping this. That's real. That's good potting right there. I'm clipping this.
And if you're KD, I'm doing it. You don't want to go somewhere. That's what I was just saying with the Rockets. You do not want to go somewhere where they're leaning on you to win. Like you're 38, you're not trying to deal with that. Ant's the leader. People worry about KD's leadership. He doesn't have to come be the leader. That's the perfect place for him to come in, like it was with the Warriors. Just come in and hoop.
All right. Just to get back on that series, I think I'm torn, man. I think it might go seven.
I said Nuggets in six. I'm taking Nuggets in six. I'm gonna keep it.
Go, but if it goes seven, then that makes it harder for me to take the Nuggets.
No, I think if it goes seven, I would pick the Nuggets. Let me not
Oh,
persuade you. You say yes.
OKC's home court advantage. OKC's home arena is one of like the toughest environments to play in the
I
league.
mean, yeah, yeah, but there's also a lot more pressure on these young guns to come out of a game seven and beat a three-time MVP.
Like, they're gonna come in, they're gonna give Russ a round of applause for like 1 minute, and then they're gonna boo him and go in. Oh man, that I didn't even like how I said the first round Clippers Nuggets was my series. This is my series of the second round.
Yeah, should be a good one.
Nuggets in seven. I'm going Nuggets in seven. I don't feel good about it, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm doing it
Did I
anyway.
persuade you? I feel like you go into a game seven. I feel like the pressure's more on the Thunder than it is on the Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm just like the dunk from Gordon in that game four really changed things for me about how I'm looking at the Nuggets right now.
All right, we got about 10 minutes before this Knicks series starts. So
Say go New York, go New
go,
York,
Cole.
go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York, go New York, go! Hit the theme music for them one time. You know they got a new one now.
Yeah, they remixed it.
Yeah, but Dougie Fresh. It doesn't hit the same though. I'm not saying it's not bad. It just doesn't hit the same for me. The New York Knicks versus the defending champion Boston Celtics. Look, I said a lot when we recapped the Knicks series against Detroit, and I think that is going to be their downfall. But here's the thing: the New York Knicks literally put this team together for this matchup. Everything that you did this off season and heading right into the regular season was literally for this team. We had Stat on here. We talked about it. You got the dual wings in there. Their combat with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are doing. You have Kristaps Porzingis playing center for the Boston Celtics. You brought in Karl Anthony Towns. They've got Drew Holiday at point guard. You've got Jalen Brunson. They've they've got White over there, and then you've got Josh Hart. Now, Boston's bench a little bit deeper. But the thing about the Knicks bench, campaign could be on one. They came back in game one against the Pistons because of campaign. Jalen Brunson had to come out of the game. He was a little hurt. Campaign wasn't even supposed to come back in that game, but he comes back in and he goes on a scoring splurge for him. So if you can get that out of them, and the biggest thing for me here is Cat, you got to play to your full potential. People are talking about it's a mismatch for Cat. I don't necessarily agree with that. Cat's got to play to his full potential. Again, limit the foul trouble, limit the turnovers, score the damn ball. Do not you take it? We do not want to hear that you took only 2 to 4 shots in the fourth quarter. And then Bridges has to step up big time. Bridges is going into a contract year next year. Let's see if you're going to be worth the money to keep you around. Nobody is picking the Knicks. I think the only people that are picking, and I'm saying this because of the poll that you put up too. Nobody is picking the Knicks in this series except Knicks fans. The Knicks should at least keep this competitive though. We're hearing 4 or 5. Like for me, this series should end in like 6 games. Honestly, like talent for talent, I feel like the Knicks can push the Celtics in this series if everybody's on their job doing what they're doing. My biggest worry, aside from the players' consistency, Tibbs. When they made all the trades, me and you were here with Mike. and I said this is the most talented team that Kayvon that Tom Thibodeau has coached in his coaching career, and I'm standing on it. You've got all the pieces. It's time to go out and coach, and it's time for these guys to go out and play. You've gone winless against the Celtics in this postseason or in the regular season, and people are like, "Well, it's the playoffs now. You showing your real stuff." Well, let's see it. Let's see it because if the Knicks come out of this series in like 4 games, even 5, I think we all got questions about where this team is heading. I don't care how good the Celtics are.
You know what? I think if it is only 4 or 5, people won't be too shocked. I think if you've seen how the regular season matchups go, went the Knicks, I think they're 0-4 against them or whatever the case is. But I think the Knicks have put up a better fight than what they did in the regular season. It's hard to consistently beat a team 4 or 5, 6, 7 times. So I think the Knicks, I think losing to them during the regular season might help them here. I think maybe they figure some things out. Uh, the regular season, they had Cat in that drop coverage, and Tatum was just killing them. I remember I watched the game. It was on a Sunday. Tatum's just killing them in that drop coverage. He's just pulling up for threes or he's attacking them. So they have to figure something out with that. But they have the wings to guard those guys. I mean, like you said, they have the talent. There's OG. There's Michael. So it shouldn't be a case where like they should struggle too much defensively. So I think the Knicks, like I think losing to them in the regular season will help them now. I think they've seen what they've done wrong and they're gonna figure something out that's gonna be better. I think if they like split maybe during the regular season or something, it'll be a little different. I think losing to them all 4 times uh is making it tough. So I think they're gonna figure something out or they figured something out already. So I'm gonna give the Knicks 2 games. I'll take the Celtics in 6.
I'm also
Uh
taking the Celtics in 6.
Yeah, I'll take the Celtics in 6. I mean, Tatum's dealing with that wrist injury, but he seems like he was still shooting it well. It's this series comes down to OG and Michael Bridges. How well can you guard those guys? That's what you guys are brought in here for. You guys are brought in here to guard these 2 guys. Kind of like in that case, Cat, you were kind of brought in here to kind of match Porzingis. So can you go toe for toe with Porzingis? And then I think Jalen Brunson is. I think it's always tough for him because he's a small guard. Can he kind of do some of the same things he was able to do against Detroit? But I'm pretty sure they have Drew Holiday on him. I don't know if Drew Holiday's back for this game because he missed the last couple games in the Magic series. So uh, I think that'd be tough for him. But how can he figure that out and figure out ways where he can score against these giants? So they have the talent to match up with them. But I think the OG the newest additions from this offseason. We brought you in here for this. Can you guys step up to the moment? So I'll give them 2 games.
I'm not worried too much about how they'll be able to match up with them defensively. I think that they that as far as
But
consistency
they
goes,
struggled against them defensively during the season. That's why I brought it
well,
up. They really
well,
couldn't guard Tatum at all.
when you're up by 3 points with 5 seconds left, foul him.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot about it. Yeah, there's that game too. The Knicks played well in that game. They got they're gonna figure some things out still. But that game in Boston, they just could not guard Tatum at all. So
Yeah, I that my thing is like Bridges, I need you to play the same way that you played in Detroit in Game 6. OG, OG's gonna do his thing. Honestly, I'm not even really too worried about OG on the offensive side of the ball, but you need consistency from Bridges and Cat in this series if you're gonna push the Celtics. And I think that's what the aside from coaching, which I think we all agree with. Aside from coaching, I think this series comes down to what you're getting from Bridges and Cat.
yeah, I think it's what you get from the new guys. I guess OG was there last year, but yeah, what you get from those new additions. What could they bring you? You kind of I feel like you brought them in for this matchup, and if they're not gonna uh, play up to par in this matchup, then you're kind of behind the eight ball.
Okay, anything else for him before we get out of here?
I just realized we have 142 subscribers. I feel like last time I looked, it was like 117. I don't know when the last time I looked was, but 142. Shout out to all 142 of you guys because I did not know we had that much.
Yeah, we out here. We working. You should see them YouTube shorts we've been putting up too. We're doing some nice
Yeah,
numbers.
YouTube Shorts be doing numbers. So shout out to the shorts. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Guess I don't know how long y'all been here, but shout out to y'all.
Word up. It is now 7 o'clock on the East Coast. We all got a game to watch. Knicks fans, good luck to you all, and we will see you guys when we get to
Good
the
luck.
conference finals. Peace.